Welcome back to danocan.com. This is the second part of a two-part episode, so if you haven't seen part one of this episode yet, I'll wait here while you go and check it out. Just promise you're going to come back. Okay, now that you've caught up on the story of how an idea hatched by Ken Liddell led to the city of Calgary obtaining a Selkirk locomotive and installing it in Mewata Park, where Calgary Tourism used it as part of their tourist information center, now we can get to the fun stuff. If you search around online, you can find a video that was produced by the Calgary Convention and Visitors Bureau. The video is called Calgary, the Living West, and from what I've learned in some quick and dirty online research, it was produced in 1962. That came just 3 years after our Selkirk locomotive was installed at Mewata Park, and since they are both tied to the tourism industry, the Selkirk makes a brief appearance in the video. So let's take a look at some snippets from The Living West, and then see the clip of the Selkirk.
My name's Bill Hughes, profession architect. I was born some 30-plus years ago in Western Canada, a city called Calgary. I left home, 15 years ago now. I've since acquired a wife, Nancy, a son and heir, David, a dog, and a mortgage in that order. Well, my folks have visited us, of course, but I'd really like to see the old hometown again. I'm not exactly homesick, understand, but when I expressed a desire to spend our annual vacation there, the initial reaction was only mildly enthusiastic.
Calgary?
Calgary.
Calgary.
Not New York?
Not the lake.
Calgary.
Okay, Calgary.
Ah, you'll love it. Now, let's see. Since I was so many years out of touch, our first morning stop was down to the Tourist Information Center, housed in a typical prairie railway station, vintage 1900. The massive 5900 locomotive, largest in the British Empire, is a survivor of Canada's steam engine era of travel. Dubbed Hospitality Center, the name stands for free, factual, and friendly information.
So here we have it. Video of the Selkirk installed at Mewata Park. It's a very short scene, and there isn't a lot in the background to help us pinpoint the exact spot where the Selkirk stood. Now, I do have a couple of still images showing the Selkirk in position, and you can see the light towers of Mewata Stadium in the background, but that's about it. The color photograph came from the Allison Jackson collection from the Calgary Public Library, and it dates the photo to September of 1962. Since the parking lot in front of 5934 is paved in that photo, but appears to be dirt in the black and white photo, I'm going to assume the black and white photo dates from sometime between 1959 and 1962. I looked at some old aerial photos of Calgary from that era, and I think the Selkirk was about in the area here shown on the map. The images were not high resolution, so I was basically judging by where there was a locomotive-sized black block in the photo, but I couldn't tell for sure. It also doesn't help that the intersection of 14th Street and 9th Avenue has been enlarged and reconfigured since then. I believe the enlarging of the intersection was one of the big reasons why the Selkirk needed to be moved. I have read newspaper articles from the 70s that mention the locomotive being damaged by gravel and other debris being kicked up from cars on the road. So a funny thing happened. I had this video complete. I had just finished uploading it to YouTube and was getting ready to update the title and the description and the hashtags and all that stuff and get it scheduled to be published when someone in the Calgary Historic Photographs group on Facebook posted this photo. Now, this picture never came across my radar while I was researching this video, but I think this black line here is showing CP5934, as it would have been known at that time, sitting in Mewata Park. This photo dates from apparently 1971. So you can see how the intersection of 9th Avenue and 14th Street had expanded into a full clover leaf at that point, and just how close the locomotive was sitting by the roadside. And that jives with the other information I found online about how the locomotive was being damaged by rocks and things being thrown from cars passing by on the interchange. I just thought I'd quickly interject this and do a re-edit of the video and upload again, because it's a really cool photo. Back to the recording. Whatever the combination of reasons, by the late 1970s, it was becoming apparent that the Selkirk could not stay in Mewata Park. So that brings us to 1981, and the current final resting spot for CP5931. Temporary tracks were constructed. The locomotive was moved across 9th Avenue onto the CP main line, stored on a siding behind the Palliser Hotel until such time it could be moved down to a temporary track by the Heritage Park LRT station, which was not yet open at the time. From there, on a Sunday morning in February of 1981, a section of track was laid on Heritage Drive, and the Selkirk was pulled out onto it. Another section was laid in front, the locomotive was moved onto that section, then the trailing section was picked up and put in front. The leapfrogging process continued all the way down Heritage Drive until the locomotive reached Heritage Park, where it still sits to this day. One last change was in store, however. In 1991, CP5934 was repainted, so she once again displayed her true number of 5931. So there you have it, the history of CP Locomotive 5931. From Montreal to Revelstoke, BC, to Mewata Park, to Heritage Park, with countless stops in between, this old girl has seen an awful lot of history in her time. Now, I intend to take snippets from the Calgary, the Living West video and do a bunch of then and now comparisons and look at some of the places that were highlighted in that video and what they look like today. Now, some of them have changed significantly. Some of them look pretty much the same as they did in 1962. But that's going to be an ongoing video series here on the channel, and I hope you'll stick around and watch that as they come out. So thank you very much for watching. Appreciate your support, and we'll see you in the next video.